Oh, juicy, juicy, juicy Smollet. You may have heard of him. He's a French actor. He's also gay. He was also accosted by a couple MAGA uh, loving Nigerian brothers. And what's really important to know is that one is he's not suicidal and he's innocent. Those are the two takeaways from his recent sentencing. I was just watching it live and the judge just reamed him. He just like talked about just went over all the details and it was really I hate to take pleasure in such a thing, but I do. So anyway, so the most entertaining part of it, well, first of all, the judge started off by saying that I'm sentencing you to felony probation for such amount of time. And I was like, okay, so no jail time. And then he said, but then he went on and he said that he's getting 150 days in the Cook County Jail. And Jussie stood up and he just started saying, I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal. But first he was just a statement like, I'm not suicidal. Like, okay, we get it. And he just starts yelling it over and over and over again. And then he throws in also that I'm innocent, puts his fist up in the air. So why was he so obsessed about saying that he's not suicidal? Well, my first speculation is that it's because he does plan to kill himself and he wants everybody to know he's not suicidal. So when it looks like he committed suicide, it was really a setup so that he can die the ultimate victim. That's my best guess. It's also possible that he is concerned that he could be killed in jail, and he thinks somebody could uh, make it look like a suicide. Why they would, I don't know. Um, I guess he's kind of implying that he's a who is the guy I'm drawing a blank. Ghislaine Maxwell. Jeffrey Epstein. He's gonna pull a Jeffrey Epstein, I guess, on himself. Um but yeah, no, it's just really weird. So this guy is obviously not very bright. He's obviously not very aware of how he is perceived by other people. He has such a lack of an awareness that he seriously thinks people, after all the evidence, will actually like it is black and white. It's been proven what he did, and he still thinks he can convince people. So that's childish. So his original plan was very childish. Uh, and it seems it's such a stupid thing because it's like, why would you be obsessed with like declaring you're not suicidal? Like, did people think you were suicidal? Maybe they did. Maybe they thought he was. But the way he keeps saying it, it's like at first I was just like, okay, he's just maybe somebody thought he was suicidal and wanted people to know that, hey, you don't have to put me on suicide watch. That's what I thought. No, I don't think it said he wants to avoid suicide watch. I think that he's planning to off himself and let people think that it was a conspiracy where they staged it. So that he can die the ultimate victim because now that seems pretty desperate. I mean, his life isn't over. He still has lots of money. He still has his pride, apparently. Does he really want to let all that go? Maybe he won't. Maybe it's just a thought in his head. But I don't think narcissists very often kill themselves. I'd be curious to know if there's been a study done showing that narcissists are less suicidal than most people. I feel like they might usually be because they still think that they have hope, but if they think they're hopeless. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on Jussie, and I just it's a silly thing to make a video about, but I was entertained by it. And I just want to give my assessment because I like following issues related to the culture wars. That's the aspect of politics I'm most interested in. Anyway, yeah, and he still thinks that he can put up his arm and he references 400 years of slavery. Like, according to him, he's the gay Tupac. And it's not just that like people called him the gay Tupac or that he sees himself that he gets up on a stage after this happened and it hadn't been disproven and he just blurts out, "I'm the gay Tupac." Dude, so by Tupac I'm sure he means I'm somebody that's calling attention to racial issues. Um People that are actually trying to like MLK, okay? MLK is an iconic figure, but he didn't get up and tell people I'm an iconic figure and label himself. He didn't say I am this. No, he just was that. So no, you're not the gay Tupac because if you were the gay Tupac, yeah, it's just so weird. I don't even know if Tupac is really somebody worthy of emulating because I don't know much about him. I know he drew attention to racial issues. I love the song "That's the Way It Is" with who's the piano player and that. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, play the race card. Keep playing the race card. I'm gonna pull out my white privilege card. This is my white privilege card, and what makes my white privilege card? Well, because it's white and it's got like my face on it, so you can tell I'm white. So if a cop's gonna try to kill me, I can just pull this out and say, "Hey, I'm white." I know, dark, not politically correct. I'm being sarcastic. Um, I'm commenting on the fact that that's absurd, right? I'm saying that let's stop playing race cards. It's quite amazing that victimhood confers privilege. And so in a sense, there are black people that by being a victim in his case was a privileged thing. And just the fact that there was such outrage when people first heard the story, people believed him and said, "Oh my gosh, that's so terrible," just proves that as a society, we're not perfect and there is racism in society, but there is far more anti-racism in society. And I mean anti-racism in the literal sense of the word, not the ideological sense. As a society, we are opposed to racism, even though it exists. And so when we hear about a racial event, that person can leverage that for status, which was his whole plan. So the irony of it is that in order to prove that we're a racist society, you kind of prove the opposite, that we're more opposed to racism as a society than we are racist. And so white privilege is not always there is such a thing as certain advantages being white can give. There are also advantages that being black can give. So white privilege is not something that just applies in all situations. And in some cases, being a white is as a disadvantage. But that's just my rant. Just stream of consciousness. Those are my thoughts on what the Jussie Smollett or Jussie Smollett case says about society. You know what else is? You know what else I'm thinking about when I think about the name Jussie or Jussie? I think it's Jussie. Like, like it's actually an interesting name. It's like, oh, it's not Jesse, it's Jussie. It's kind of a an interesting name. I actually like it. But like I would never name my kid that because everywhere you go, you're going to be called Jesse and you're going to have to correct that. So give your kid a name that they're not going to have to explain like every time, like they're not going to have to spell it. I saw there was a girl at Sheets, working at Sheets, and her name was Unique. You know, I mean, it was literally unique. The word was unique, and which is kind of funny. Like, hi, my name's Unique. Oh, it's unique. What is it? Well, it's unique. All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on second. No, what's on second? Unique's on third. I don't know who's on first. You know, that whole thing. Um, so, uh, yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts. And I'll end there.